Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is episode 1 of a brand new Transport Fever 2 Let's Play. If you guys are new to the series, definitely check out some of the older videos, 2 separate series linked in the description below. And if you're a returning viewer, as always, like and comment, let me know how I'm doing, and subscribe for more videos. So, just to talk a little bit about what's going on in the channel, I finished up the new map, and I just decided to move on to a new series. The last map, the Atoll map, had gotten very full, and I really enjoy the earlier parts of the Transport Fever 2 gameplay, where you've got tons of space, tons of opportunities to do things. If you guys want me to go back and keep working on the Atoll map, I'm more than happy to. I love that playthrough, and when I finished this map, I was so excited to play it that I decided to move right into a new series. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I just wanted to say also thank you guys so much for the support for the channel. We're over 100 subscribers, and that's great. I'm super excited to keep going and make more videos. So let's go ahead and get into this map. You can see that we're starting with some vehicles here. I'll just go ahead and pause the time. We're starting in 1950. I asked kind of what time period you guys would enjoy seeing, and one of the subscribers, Keith Thomas, commented that he would love to see the 1960s. So I thought we would start in the 50s. That way, you know, by the time we hit the 60s, we're really rolling. And this is the new map. It is Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and some of Connecticut. For those of you who are not from the northeast of the United States, you'll probably be unfamiliar, but this is Cape Cod here. We've got Provincetown, Chatham, and Falmouth. We've got the islands, so Martha's Vineyard, with a city on it called Oak Bluffs, and Nantucket Island. Boston up here. We got some other cities, you know, thrown about that are classic New England cities. Brockton, great classic New England city. Newport, Providence, New London, New Haven, Stamford. We got Poughkeepsie, New York out here. So the New York line would run kind of right up here. New York City would be right down here. Hartford, Connecticut, Springfield. So the Connecticut-Massachusetts line would run like right here. Worcester, Mass. And then tons of different industries around. So I'm really excited to get into this map. I was actually born in a small town kind of right up here, a few miles north of Boston. So I guess like this timber yard, sawmill is like my house. But I'm really excited for this map, and when I finished it, I just really wanted to get going into it. So I went ahead. I have no loan right now, just so that I could let the game run and we wouldn't be eating away at the loan money while we did so. So let's just kind of talk about what we want to do, what we want to start off with. I think we're going to start down here in Falmouth. For anybody who's been to Falmouth, I tried to replicate the Falmouth Heights. It's this big rock formation in Falmouth with a bunch of houses on it. Really beautiful. Opens up into Vineyard Sound. So I think we're going to start by providing some food here to Falmouth using this farm and this food processing plant. So let's go ahead into our terrain view so we can run a little road down here. I'll probably start off with these country roads. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and put in a road depot just so we can see the speeds of the vehicles that we're going to be dealing with. And let's take maybe 5 million in loan to start. So I'll go ahead and put a road depot in right here. Let's see the speeds of the cargo vehicles that we have right now. Okay, so we have up to these Studebaker trucks. They go 37 miles an hour. Looks like 37 is all we've got for now. So with that being the case, I probably will go with these small country roads. They're cheap. They give us 37 miles an hour, which is what we need. And that's good. So why don't we just start by running this road right down the coast here. And I'll probably bring it right down here, and then I might take this out so that I can get a nice clean connection there. And then we'll reestablish that connection after we put in our truck stop, because I think we're going to fit it in probably right here. Yeah, so if I put that in right here, I'll probably back this out. I'll put an entrance in. Maybe one more cargo platform. And now we will go ahead and reconnect this with a street here. Oh, and I put this one in backwards. So let me just fix that. This should be an entrance. So now we'll put a little entrance and exit, and then we will reconnect this road. Okay, so that's in catchment there. And now I think I'll probably put one right here as well. This should be in catchment of this facility. Yeah. So I'll just spin this around a little bit. Put that in right here. Put in an entrance. Maybe one more platform. And then we'll put in an exit. This one shouldn't need to be buffered. I might do it, later on once we've got a ton of money, just for the appearance of it. And then our trucks are going to come into Falmouth here on this main street, and then let's see where they need to drop off. So maybe if I have them drop here, that could work. I think I'll actually have them drop there, just so that it gives it a little bit of expansion room to work with. So these are going to start here. They're going to pick up the grain. They're going to take it up here, drop it off at the food processing plant. And then they want to do that. It's kind of interesting. I don't really want them to loop back up that way, though. Truthfully. I kind of want them to come back down this road. This side street. So why don't I give them a waypoint right here. And I'll add that in coming back. That way they stay on this coastal road. And we'll call this Falmouth Grain, or Falmouth Food. Falmouth Grain and Food. And why don't we make this like a light orange color? And I want them to wait for a full load at the grain forever before they leave. Also, why don't we go to quarter speed? And now we'll buy a few trucks here. So we're going to use these Studebakers. Let's see. We've got a dump truck. We've got a tanker truck. A tarpaulin. And then a truck with side stakes. Which can't carry grain, unfortunately. So it looks like we're going to go with the covered. Because the flatbed can carry grain, but not food. The side stakes can carry food, but not grain. So why don't we go with these covered trucks, and maybe we'll get 6 of them to start. And these Studebakers, they look great. Awesome. So now we'll get some, and we can already see some grain being put on this platform. So that should start getting some food delivered into Falmouth. Great. So now, if we swing all the way over to the other side of the map to Lee, Massachusetts, which is a tiny town out in western Massachusetts, I think we're going to do a little construction material. We've got Lee demands construction material. We've got some construction material here. This is kind of a spur of the Appalachian Mountains that Lee is in. Western Mass is extremely mountainous, so you can see that I've done that here with the terrain. This map will also be in the Steam Workshop if you guys want to play it. So yeah. We got a couple stone quarries up here. This one's not connected. This one is. I think we'll probably go with this closer one. If we can get it connected with the terrain. You can see it's kind of way down here, so we might have to meander our way up here. So why don't we go straight off just a little bit, just to give it a little bit more space. And then we'll start to work our way up here. Let me see how steep that turn is. Probably just make it a little bit flatter. And then we can take this up here and connect that in. And that should work. It's not too steep. And that should allow us to get some construction material up here. And then I think if we come into our terrain here, we're probably going to want to branch off here so that we can bypass the city and take a more direct route. So if we look at our contours, we could probably branch off like right here. And follow this contour, roughly. Yeah. Branch in there, and then they can come up to this construction materials facility to drop off the stone. So why don't we get a stop up here? Put that in right here. This one doesn't need to be big, just because it's not going to be... It's only going to be taking whatever is available. This one is going to need a little bit more buffer space. So we'll swing this around here. Put that in right here. Probably make it maybe 6 platforms. We'll add an entrance and an exit. And then we'll go ahead and put in the one-ways, like so. And now all we need is a stop here in Lee. So if we come in here, they're going to come into town from the construction materials facility on this road. And I might just have them drop right here for now. So why don't we get a new line in here? So we'll pick up stone. We'll take it up to the construction materials. We'll drop it here, and then they'll leave town. And I would probably rather they go down this street. So I'll have them do that. And I want them to wait for a full load at the stone facility. And now this is going to be a truck route. It's going to be Lee, stone, and construction materials. And now we can come in here and put in a truck depot. Might put it in right here. And now let's get some Studebakers on here. So these flatbeds can move stone, but not brick. The side stakes can move brick, but not stone. Okay. So it looks like we're probably going to go with the covered again. Yeah. So we'll go with the covered, maybe 6 of them. And we'll put them on that line. And they will go get stone. So let's swing back over to Falmouth and see how these trucks are doing. Yep, so they're picking up a little food on their way back. And I'm wondering, because the food delivery is so far, I'm wondering if I just want to have these trucks running the grain and then do a separate line to deliver the food. You know, for now, I think we'll just leave this the way it is. I don't know. I kind of want them to just deliver the grain up here. And then have a separate line delivering the food. No, I think that'll be okay, the way it is. Alright, there's another place that we want to deliver some food. Worcester, Massachusetts. So we're going to use this food processing facility and then one of these farms. I don't think it really matters which farm we use. So why don't we use this one? So we'll spin this around. Put this in right here. Put in a couple extra platforms. And then an exit. And now we'll go ahead and connect this up. So, one thing that's going to be really interesting on this playthrough is just kind of determining, I guess, what facilities to use for what. The way that I laid it out is there are a lot of different options for each city as far as how we want to get materials. And I guess you'll see that. I don't want to get into that too much right now, but there are a lot of different ways that you could get, you know, goods one place or another. Okay, so we'll connect this up. And now we will need a drop-off here in Worcester. They're going to come in on this road. And let's see, if I have them drop kind of up here. I would love for them to have a place to circle back around, so I might give them one by connecting that up. And now we'll have them drop right here and then exit the city. And this is, going to be 2 lines. So I'll have one line here delivering the grain. So I'll make this Worcester grain. And I'll have them wait for a full load forever before they come and drop it off. And then, actually, I might not have enough space to add in another platform here. Let's see. Yeah, I don't. I guess I could shift this road out. Just a little bit. So why don't we come in here, we'll add in another stop. We'll add that back in, and now we just need to reconnect this. Perfect. Okay, so now, from the second platform, these are going to run in here and deliver. Oh, not twice. They're going to deliver to Worcester. We'll have them wait for a full load, and then this will be Worcester food. And yeah, I'll leave it as that yellow color. That's fine. And now we're going to need a road depot somewhere in here. So why don't we spin this around, and maybe I could add it in here in this industrial area. And now we need to get some vehicles on both of these lines. So to move the grain, we can use these flatbeds. Maybe 6 of them to move the grain. And now we'll get a few more vehicles to move the food. So why don't we go with these side state cars, the Studebakers. Need to borrow a little bit more money to get the Studebakers on there. I'll probably just get 2 for now. And now let's see how these are doing. Yeah, so they're making good money here. They're operating well. I think this is our first one on the way back to pick up more grain. And there's a little bit of food up there. Okay. Nice. So now also, I want to start by setting up a couple passenger routes, probably just with buses for now. So why don't we do one from Boston down to Brockton? So if I put in a bus stop somewhere pretty central, looks like this is probably our best spot. Just trying to see if there's a better spot. Maybe here. Yeah, so I'll put the bus stop right there, and then they'll come down here to Brockton. They're going to come in. Might have them stop right here. And now we can set up a new line from Boston down to Brockton. And I might have them wait for full load for 60 seconds before they leave the city. And now this will be a bus route from Boston down to Brockton. So now we'll need to put in another road depot. Looks like the industrial area of Brockton is kind of right here. So why don't I put that in right there? Borrow a little bit more money. And now we'll get maybe 2 of these buses on here. And now let's speed this up. Pay back some of that money. And let's see if we start to get passengers. Yes, we already got some passengers here. Those split, which is great. He's only got 1 on there for now, but hopefully that will kick itself off here in a little bit. See how these are doing now that they're running pretty well. Yeah, they're making a good profit. So 83,000 income, so they're almost doubling their money. Let's go up to Lee. See how Lee is doing. So these are doing really well so far, and he hasn't even delivered his construction materials yet. Oh, maybe he didn't take any. This one has some. So once he delivers the construction material, yeah, they're doing really well. So that should be a good route. Awesome. All right, this is working really great so far. Just keep paying that loan down. All right, so how is this doing? We got 2 people down here wanting to take the bus. No one up here, but this bus just left again with no one. Interesting. I wonder if this... There's a lot of people that want to go from Brockton up to Boston, but not the other way around. So why don't I actually... I'm going to sell this bus. That way it's just one bus on there, and we can increase the people on the... We can increase the number of vehicles if we need to. But maybe it won't be necessary. Maybe buses aren't as effective in the early game as they are in, like, the Steam era. With carriages and such. Alright, so... There are a couple places that we could set up an early train line if we wanted to. One is fuel down here. So we could take oil, crude oil from here. We have a refinery here. And then a fuel refinery up here. And we have a couple cities around here that need oil. Another one is this fuel setup up here. That would probably work. Yeah, so why don't we go with... Why don't we do this one? This fuel line right here. And then we can truck the fuel either place. So if we look at our terrain here, it's not too bad around here, so why don't I use this fuel line? We'll take it up to here, and then down over to here. So we'll pause real quick because we're going to borrow a lot of money to get started. These fuel lines are extremely expensive to build. Now let's see, we want to head out roughly in that direction, so we'll kind of spin this around. Why don't I put this road in first? We'll put this train station in right here. And then we're going to want a pass-through. So if we just look at our terrain, we're in the clear here. So if we want to put in a pass-through, I'll probably do it like right here. Maybe right there. Bring this road up here. And then we'll just kind of curve it in. And now that's in catchment there. And then we're going to want another station down here. I'll probably delete out some of this road, just because it's kind of in our way. Now why don't we just curve that into there? And that will allow us to put this station right here at this facility. Okay, so now let's connect these up with some tracks. So we're just going to use the 75 mile an hour track. We have a little bit of terrain to deal with. Is it worth cutting that through? It's going to be $500,000. Probably. I don't really want to go up and over that hill, but I also want to go direct. I guess I could go around it. No, I think we'll just cut right through it. For now. That was very expensive, but it is what it is. Now this one, let's see if we can avoid some of this terrain. So we'll curve like that. Little cut through there. We'll cut again. Probably go straight for a little bit. Curve through here. I'm going to make this a girder bridge. If it wants to bring it up so that we can keep this waterway open. Actually, we don't really need to keep this waterway open. I thought this was this river. This is the Connecticut River, by the way. For those of you who want to keep getting geography lessons. So we don't really need to keep this waterway open. It doesn't really go anywhere. So that's okay, and it makes it cheaper. And then we'll just curve right in here. Just trying to make this a little bit smoother of a curve. Just like that. Okay. So now we've got that track laid. We've still got 4 million to get our first train. And this one is just going to run straight along this line. And I want it to wait for a full load at Stamford for maybe 3 minutes before it heads out. And this will be a rail line, Stamford to New London. Crude, oil, just crude and oil for now. Okay, nice. And now where do we want to put our siding? That's a good question. Why don't we put it down at this end? That way, it'll send the train down the line with a lot of space, allowing that station to fill up. That should be enough space right there. And now let's get a signal on here. So this is going to be a non-one-way signal right here. Now let's go ahead and get a train on here. So we've got all the steam. We have some electric and some diesel. So this goes 50, this goes 117 miles an hour. The diesels. The electrics are just so expensive to run. I don't think we're going to go with electric. 50 miles an hour. Let's see. I don't know. When was this? This was built in 1930, 1946. The only problem with this one is it goes 117 and we're never going to use that speed. So I think for now, this is going to be, a smaller train to start. Why don't we go with Maybe a setup like that. 96 capacity. We're going to need 2 more million to buy it. And we'll go ahead and we'll get that on this crude line. We'll see this come out right now. And now if we come all the way back down here to this crude facility, this should be putting crude on. And for those of you who are curious, a good way to check to see if your lines are working is to go into the resource facility and go into consumers. And you'll see that this is recognizing Stamford Oil, which is this oil refinery up here. It's recognizing it as a consumer of the goods that it produces. So if you ever set up a line and you're confused as to why it's not working, maybe all of your vehicles are waiting at a station and the raw material facility is not putting anything onto the platform, you can go in and check to make sure that it's recognizing it as a consumer. And if it's not, it means that either there's a problem in the way that your line is laid out, or occasionally, like if you made a stop that connected to another, like let's say that for some reason this stop didn't exist and we were just going to bring it to a rail station here. You know, if we had another rail station here and this was like the terminus of the rail line, and then we were going to truck it from here up to this facility, this would never recognize the New London fuel refinery as a consumer if there wasn't the trucking route established in addition to the rail line. Does that make sense? So you would need the entire from point A to point B established. Kind of confused as to why he's heading back here. Now that I'm talking about how to set up your lines correctly. Stamford to Stamford sidings up to New London. Yeah, that should work. All right, let's watch this for a second and see. Maybe he just went to the first available station and he didn't go to the end of it. But anyway, hopefully that helps with setting up your lines. Let's come up here and see how these trucks are doing. Yeah, they're doing totally fine. They're making tons of money. How are these trucks doing? These trucks are doing good. Hopefully that's more the standard than this one. And then these trucks are also doing really well. You saw that these trucks had to wait. Let's see if I find them. These trucks had to wait a little while, so they just kind of burned some money while they were waiting to get food on this platform. And man, we could probably get another couple vehicles on this line, truthfully, because they're getting a lot of grain delivered. That is why I like breaking the lines up, which is why I might break this one up in the future, just because these trucks are coming back with such a limited quantity. You know, it's a mixed bag. All right, so let's see if this train now, he should go all the way through this station. Shouldn't stop. Yeah, now he's going to come down here and pick up this excessive amount of oil that's on this platform. But one thing I actually just realized, speaking of not delivering your goods, we need to set up a delivery to get this fuel somewhere, wherever it wants to go. We could go up to Hartford, or we could come back to New Haven. Now, if we were going to come back to New Haven, it might make sense to put in a rail stop right here, so that this can just drop off the refined oil, pick up whatever oil it has, and drop it here at New Haven. But I think we're going to start by taking this up to Hartford, Connecticut. So why don't we put in a truck stop here? We're going to need to borrow a little bit more money. And honestly, this might make more sense. So why don't I pause this really quick? Let me just make sure I have enough money to do this. Yeah, we got tons of money to do this. So I'm going to take this out. And I'm going to put this in. Maybe right here. Back this out. And now if we get our track, should be able to connect that up. Now that line should still function. And now after New London, stop at New Haven on your way back. And now we'll put in a platform here. Actually, I'm going to use these country roads. For now. We'll loop that in here. Now we're going to need a platform here. And now if we come in here, I'm going to pause this real quick just before this gets here so that this gives that facility a place to deliver. They're going to come into town. They'll probably come down this road. Down this road. Maybe drop right here. So if we add on a new line, maybe make this orange. And now I want them to wait for full load forever. And this will be a truck route, and this will be New Haven fuel. Perfect. And now we can get a depot somewhere around here. So it looks like this is kind of our industrial area. Down here. So why don't I sneak this in right here. And we'll come into cargo, and now we can actually get these tanker trucks. And maybe I'll just get 2 for now. And then I'm going to repay all that excess loan that I took out to do that. And now this should have some oil. Yeah, it only has 1, and that's because it took this a little while to kick off. So on its way back, it should... I don't even know if this will produce with just 1. I mean, it says 1-to-1. And hopefully this is going to recognize New Haven. Yeah, so it just burned right through it. It didn't even kick it off. So that will kick itself off on the next run. Let's see if I can grab this train. Let's see how we're doing financially. Terribly. But that makes sense because it did a whole run with nothing. And then it did a run where this had yet to produce oil, refined oil. So this should kick itself off here just in a little bit. So I'm going to be doing, the same thing that I was doing in the last episode, which is kind of decorating a lot of this stuff as we go. Like a big cut like this, I'll fix. And I'll go through and just, show you the stuff at the beginning of the episode. We kind of got away from that a little bit in the Atoll series, just because there was so much stuff that we needed to do. Oh man, look at this. This really got going up here. So we got 35 people at both facilities. So we could probably get another bus on here, truthfully. So why don't I wait for this bus to get closer to Boston, and then we'll go ahead and put another bus on here. How much are these buses? That's a good question. I mean, I'm gonna have to take out a loan regardless. They're 200,000. They're doing really well financially. I don't think I'm going to be able to... So let's take out a loan. I was going to say I don't think I'll be able to get another vehicle on there just, you know, haphazardly, but let's see. Can I afford another tarpaulin? I can. So why don't we put that, just add that on right here. Might as well. I don't like to just waste loan money. But now we have another bus on here. Okay, and he's going to head down that way. That's okay. That's why I wanted to wait for this bus to spread itself out. Let's see how much this gets paid. I didn't catch it. I guess it's probably this, 45,000. So it looks like you can roughly do two... I'm going to change this to a little bit darker green. It can roughly do two trips in its life cycle. So one full circle in its life cycle. So we got paid. So that must have been one of these trains. Yeah, it must have been the delivery of crude oil here that this just got paid for. And I'll be interested to see how this does getting up to top speed, because it can go 50 miles an hour. So it should hit it quite easily on the way back, or on the way up here. I mean, maybe not quite easily. It's just getting to 50 right at the bridge, virtually. And then I guess it runs this last stretch fully loaded. So now let's see how this train does when it comes down here. This should recognize New Haven. And we've got these two trucks just waiting here. Truthfully, I might sell one of them. Okay, so that got paid a really good amount. So we'll repay a little bit of that loan. And now this should start to recognize, yeah, New Haven. Perfect. Did this take anything? It didn't. Just missed it. Similar to what it did up here. It takes these facilities a little while to kick off. You know, just a few seconds, but it's long enough that the vehicle will leave before it fills up. Let's see how these are doing. Yeah, tons of stone waiting. Yeah, these are doing really well financially. Yeah, and that took 10. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good run. Lee is growing. Who would have thought that Lee, Mass would be growing faster than Boston? Let's see. Let's see if that's a thing. So Lee's growing at plus 80%. Yeah, Lee, Mass growing faster than Boston. I love it. Love to see it. I had a friend who lived in Lee, Mass for a long time. It was actually quite nice. It was out in the, you know, out in the Appalachians. Really nice. So shout out to my friend who lived in Lee. He'll know who I'm talking about. All of my friends will probably know who I'm talking about. But yeah, this is going really well. I'm really excited to, you know, do some boat stuff around here. We'll probably get a ferry. In the real world, there's actually a high-speed ferry that runs from Boston out to Providencetown, or what New Englanders call P-Town, at the P-Town ferry. And there are people who, you know, it's not, the problem with it is that it's not the most reliable just because of weather. There can be a lot of really rough weather in New England, especially in the winter. So I wouldn't quite call it a commuter ferry. There are a lot of ferries that are reliable commuter ferries running into Boston. The P-Town ferry, probably not so much, but it's also really cool that you can, be in the city and catch a ferry. It takes about an hour and a half to get out to P-Town, and then you're just out on the Cape. And if you wanted to drive this on a weekend, that could take you, I don't know, 5 hours, 6 hours. I mean, it could take you 3 hours just to get from Boston to Falmouth on a bad day, because so in reality, there's a canal that runs right through here. There's these two bridges. This is the Bourne Bridge. Imagine there's a canal here. This is the Bourne Bridge, and this is the Sagamore Bridge. And those are the only two roads. They're both 2 lanes going each way, and that's the only way onto the Cape. So, it can get pretty hairy. It can take you a while. We'll just keep paying off that loan as we go. But all right, guys, I think this is going to take us to the end of this episode. I'm really excited for this new map. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I love that it's, places that I know. Man, Nantucket. I guess I don't remember putting this big of a city down here. Oh, we got some planes. Nice. But anyway, I'm really excited. This is going to be great. This is going to be a really fun series. And again, thank you guys so much for the support for the channel. Over 100 subscribers. That's awesome. I just like making the videos for fun, and I'm glad that you guys are enjoying them too. So we will, this will end this episode, and we'll go for a ride on one of these new lines, and I will see you guys in the next one. So thanks very much. Have a great day. Bye.